All right, welcome to the RSP Film Room. And listen, it's been a while since I've had a guest on, and it's probably the last time I had a guest on, it was Mark Schofield. So, we have the return engagement here of the RSP Film Room now that I found a format that works well enough to be able to record the games and have everybody on. And, YouTube made it more complicated than it needed to be. So I'm deciding we went with the illustrious StreamYard here. Things are looking like they're going to work out nicely. So, Mark, we're going to look at Trevor Lawrence.
Here we go. The 2021 draft takes begin.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't take us long to get here, right?
No. I mean,
no, not at all.
We're not.
I just want to say at the outset, and maybe it's good, maybe it's not good, but I'm a little feisty today. And the life cycle of a draft quarterback has begun. Because, Matt, this time last year, Trevor Lawrence was it. People will write it on their Post-it, their sticky notes. Trevor Lawrence, no matter what, right?
Right.
And I have seen on the timeline Trevor Lawrence starting to slip where I honestly believe by August he will be quarterback 3 in many people's eyes.
What? Really?
Which is stunning to me. Stunning to me. Now, yes, Trey Lance and Justin Fields are certainly talented quarterbacks. But as I was talking with you offline before we were getting rolling today, man, I think Trevor Lawrence checks so many boxes. Like, I'm just really excited about this kid's potential.
Well, this should be fun then because, I've watched Trevor Lawrence a little bit, but then I really just started studying games of him last night, and I watched a couple of games, and you've shared a couple of games here. So we're going to look through selected takes in this RSP Film Room of Trevor Lawrence against Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Ohio State, and Virginia. And this should give us a nice cross-section of plays. Each of us just picked plays that we liked in terms of something that we thought was notable about Trevor Lawrence's game, and we're sharing them. Neither of us know really what these plays are. I just queued them up when Mark gave me the list, and we're just going to run through them and discuss what we see. And, that's how it goes. I think you guys are used to this format by now, if not from us, from way back in the day, then from other folks who have been doing it more recently. So let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to maximize the screen here so you don't see our ugly mugs.
Yeah, nobody needs to see that.
Hey, man, I know, right? So let's see. Here we go. Georgia Tech, Mark. Queued it up, 47 seconds in at 2nd and 11 with 14:27.
Yeah, and I think before we snap the ball here, I want to draw people's attention to the left side of the formation with the single receiver to the left, because one of the things that college quarterbacks sometimes struggle with are plays that happen to the boundary, to the outside, particularly when they face corner blitzes. I remember during Deshaun Watson's draft cycle, I did an entire piece dedicated on the weak side corner blitz. Well, watch Trevor Lawrence here. They're basically running sort of a mirrored vertical curl route to both sides of the field, with a vertical on the outside, the curl routes from the inside. But watch Lawrence and the receiver here, pre-snap, T. Higgins, identify the blitz, adjust the route, and make the completion. See right there. Higgins points it out immediately. And look at Lawrence. He's looking right at it. Now, he squats in the flat. He doesn't blitz. But Lawrence knows right there, I can make a completion right here. They're rotated from a cover 2 look to a cover 3 look, so that vertical is going to be capped. So he sits down. Lawrence reads the adjustment and anticipates what he's going to do. I mean, the ball's coming out here.
Yeah. And it's just a nice, easy throw. I mean,
yeah.
You're looking at this. It's just, conceptually he understands exactly what he needs to do. You have the communication there with Higgins. That's great. Nice, quick setup. He's always very good with the nice, quick setups there. You've got that midline of that back foot really pointed where it needs to go. And that's an area we're going to talk about a lot, I think, with his play. Nice over-the-shoulder delivery there. Just a nice toss, puts it where it needs to be so that Higgins can just kind of, it looks like transition just downhill, make the catch easily.
Yeah, I mean, you turned 2nd and 11 into 3rd and 3 in the blink of an eye, and you didn't have to do anything difficult. It's just, that's the kind of awareness that we see veteran quarterbacks sometimes struggle with. And we always see college quarterbacks, well, not always, but most of the time we see them struggle with routage, coverage adjustments along the boundary. Like, it's one thing to see the safeties in the middle of the field rotate. It's another to see this sort of look.
Yeah. And just, I mean, the placement's terrific for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Let's move on. All right. And now we're looking at a 3rd and 6. We're going to see in the red zone. So red zone to me is always a really telling area about where a quarterback is with his development, because as we talk about a lot, the field's compressed. You have to make quicker decisions. Your reads have to be on point. Your understanding of leverage has to be there. Your management of, the time allotment that you have has to be much tighter than what it is, between the 20s.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much tougher down in the red area. And that's why, like, red zone, 3rd downs, 4th quarter, like, those are always sort of situations that I try to keep track of when you're studying quarterbacks, but particularly down in the red zone. It's one thing when you're in the open field. It's another thing when you've got basically 3 extra defenders in terms of the sidelines, which are come more into play now, as well as the back line of the end zone. Like, when the field is so compressed, there's only so much real estate going around.
Yeah. So what do we have here on this particular play, Mark? We have a single high safety pre-snap look.
Yep. And what we're going to highlight here is one of the areas that we see all the time in the NFL, we see all the time in the college game, but Lawrence does it so well. And that's just your sort of stop back shoulder type throw, because he's going to go back shoulder, stop route here to Higgins. And the placement on this is just perfect. And we see that so many times from Trevor Lawrence. And most of the time it is in the direction of T. Higgins. He's got the free safety shaded over to him. Doesn't matter. He trusts that Higgins is going to win this route.
Yeah.
And it's 3rd and 6. Yep. Puts this in the perfect spot for this throw.
Yeah, look at that, low and away.
Yep. That's where you want to put it. Some people might look at that and say, wait, no, that's off target. No, that's where you want to put this. You want to put it low and away from the leverage defender, give your receiver a chance to make this play inbounds and get the 1st down. Like, you're not trying to score a touchdown here. You're trying to move the sticks.
Yeah. And what I like about him here on this particular play is watch him drop, and he's dropping straight back. Then he has to open up. And I always find that quarterbacks at this level tend to have issues when they have to open up late and throw the ball to the boundary. That their feet tend to be sloppy. And on this particular play, it looks pretty darn good. I mean, look where the point is, look where the midline is.
I mean, I think we are going to talk about his mechanics. I think he's fairly clean from a mechanical perspective. And you and I, we don't always get hung up on mechanics. But I think from a footwork, from a release point, all those points, he's as pretty clean as you see.
Yeah. I mean, there's some minor quibbling that I think we'll get into, but yeah, I agree with you. And that's a really nice example of that type of play. So you're seeing him make some really nice throws, to start off this particular, session. And here we are now with with another 2-by-1 look, or 11 personnel with your offset guy on the wing here. Now we're backed up into our own territory. Again, this is another area where you see a lot of young quarterbacks, whether it's NFL or college, take too many chances, maybe trying to take too long to make a play, get overinvested, and wind up getting sacked, or wind up, making a reckless decision rather than knowing what they need to do here to be, pretty much efficient with their decision making, spot the opportunity, and if they can't, bail out of the play.
Yeah, and what I love about this play is, again, look at the weak side corner here to the right side of the field, right? You're seeing him already start to cheat inside. We're going to see this time the corner actually come. They're going to run sort of a post and flat combination with the outside receiver running the post, that wing tight end running the flat. Now, sometimes when you get that corner blitz, quarterback might think, oh, here's my chance. I can hit that, post route before that safety comes over the top. But you're getting baited into throwing that in a sense, because that safety is going to be in position. What he does instead, he just takes the flat route, doesn't panic, knows he's got the leverage advantage against that linebacker, and just takes the quick throw and watch what it turns into.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when it's 2nd and 9 and you're backed up inside your 10, that's exactly the play right there.
Yeah. And, other quarterbacks, like I said, might try to force that post, but the linebacker retreats under it. Safety stays over the top of it. That's where Lawrence opens up. He's looking at that post route, but he sees, look, if that linebacker is going to retreat, I'll just take that. And again, it's like the first play we talked about. You had a 2nd and 11 becomes 3rd and 3. Here, 2nd and 9 becomes 1st and 10. And I've said it so many times when we've done these shows, like, you don't have to make the game hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes make it easy.
Yeah, and he does. And that's a really nice trait that you don't see often enough with big-time prospects. Who want to really just, they want to make the hero play all the time. So here we are again, backed up in his own territory once again.
1st and 15 on your own 15-yard line. They go mirrored hitch seam here.
Okay.
You're going to get a split safety look. The seam route on the left side of the formation from the slot. He's going to bend inside, try to cross the face of the safety. The thing that I love is sort of the pocket movement. He sort of climbs the pocket a little bit here, keeps that left hand locked on the football. And the placement here, because you get that linebacker trying to get under it, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Stands tall in the pocket. The receiver does a great job of crossing the face there, which is what you want to see when you get that middle of the field open look. Got to attack that soft spot. You see both slot receivers actually did that here, because that's what you do, middle of the field open, when you're running that seam route from the slot. He opens to the right, just gives that a cursory glance, climbs and fires. It's a perfect throw. And, you need to attack the middle of the field. I mean, think about some of the prospects in this last draft class. Like, I'm not so sure I'm seeing Justin Herbert make this read and throw. I'm not so sure I'm seeing Jacob Eason make this read and throw.
Yeah.
And Lawrence is doing it like it's second nature to him.
Yeah, he hits it easy.
Yeah.
And the manipulation involved, is the feet, the nice balanced feet really moving here. That's kind of what I wanted to see with his game is, can he keep his stance fairly narrow so that he can deliver that ball?
And I love the hips on this throw. Like the little hip twist and torque right there. Yeah. I mean, it's, again, not the mechanics of the be all and end all, but I just really like his throw in motion. It's so crisp. It's very clean. There are nitpicky things, like you said, but that's one of those boxes that I've checked and I've moved on. Unless it somehow falls to pieces next year, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. Worst, I would say his stance gets a little wide at times, but he's good at being able to step through the throw with that front foot and get those hips moving through to really kind of generate some power. Even when the feet are a little bit on the wide side. But again, it's usually when he has to pivot to a side. We'll look at that a little bit more later, but I agree with you. It's not a major issue with this game at all.
Right.
You're not going to look at it and say, this is high on the list of things he must correct in order for him to be a good quarterback.
Right.
He's already there. And that movement's nice. It's just subtle movement and the look off. That's a really nice play. All right, so we're moving forward here. We're later in the half, and this game is getting to be a blowout. And you see Lawrence here. What we have 2x2 now this time.
Yep, 2x2. I hate comparisons. Okay, I despise comparisons. I know we have to do them. I know people clamor for them, and there are certainly ways where you can make comparisons beneficial to readers, to consumers of the work that you and I do, Matt. And it's easy to sort of fall into traps. And I know a lot of people are going to throw out the Andrew Luck comparison with Lawrence. It's certainly easy to do. But he does remind me of Luck on this play in one particular way, and that's the left hand. One of the things that I loved about Andrew Luck watching him when he was playing was when he was pressured in the pocket, how he would keep that left hand glued to the football. You're not going to be able to knock the ball out of his hands easily. Other guys, they're a bit more lackadaisical with it. Luck always kept that left hand glued to the football while he was climbing the pocket, facing pressure, moving away. And with that framework in mind, watch this play from Lawrence, because it's a situation where he has to move, has to create.
Nice.
Watch that left hand. Eyes never drop. And that's just the perfect throw on the move.
Yeah, nice placement. Totally nice
Yeah.
placement. And let's look at where he responds. He opens up to his left on this play, which is, open up to the left, looks at the middle of the field, feels that pressure coming around. And while he's running to that spot, which is not a problem, you'll see some players where, like, say, Kyler Murray, maybe when he has opportunity to like climb and slide in a more controlled way, he'll run and drop, and he'll have his hand off the ball. And that can be an issue sometimes. But what you mentioned here, I mean, this is perfect. It looks like a drill or an exercise where he's perfectly facing downfield. He's in a throwing position this entire time. And that's beautiful throw on the move in terms of mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, everything about that play is perfect to me. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. And again, I mean, you're looking at a guy who's going through progressions. He's looking at this particular section, and he sees probably the deeper safety here and sees that's going to be covered, and knows where the receiver's going to be breaking with the linebacker dropping, getting good depth there. So after he comes off of that, it's all about the comeback, and he has the gun to do it and the technique. That's beautiful.
I mean, that's such a nice throw there. I've had many put the pen down moments with this kid already, but that was one of them.
Yeah, that's nice. And it's funny because the one guy that came to mind when I watched him too was Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the comparison. It might end up being like the guy that everybody says he can be, and that's fine. The reason why I want to sort of give that sort of prelude to it is, we sometimes fall into traps of, comparisons. These guys are, we compare a quarterback to a different quarterback. It's like we think they do everything the same way, and we don't.
No.
I think with Luck and Lawrence, you could start to make the case that, okay, maybe it's a bit better of a one-to-one comparison than other guys in the past, but
right. And I like a spectrum more than anything.
Yeah.
But it's a combination of influences. You just wouldn't take a musician and say, oh, he's just like this musician.
Right.
If you do that, they're probably pretty darn boring. You'd probably rather listen to the other musician.
Right.
But if, it's like Prince, you could look at Prince and you could say, oh, he certainly compares to James Brown, but you wouldn't say he's just a James Brown act and that's all he is. Otherwise you're missing out on all the other influences that are huge in his catalog. So anyway, what do we have here? We got a little motion.
Little motion. They're going to go basically Yankee here with a vertical route from the left and a crosser from the right. What I love about this play is his thinking. Because if you wide back through this, you will see him go from the vertical to the crosser, from the vertical to the crosser. He's just like working his eyes between the two. He wants to throw the vertical, but he gives it every chance he can because he knows the crosser's there. So he keeps flashing his eyes between the two until finally time's running out. So he just takes what he has.
Nice.
And I just love the mindset because, if you sort of get the all 22 on this one, you'll see that they basically bracket that vertical route on the left between the corner and the safety. And he's heading in there. He wants to throw it so badly. So his eyes keep going between the two. And each time he comes back to the crosser, he confirms, yeah, I've still got it. Yeah, I've still got it. Okay, I just can't wait any longer. I'll take what they're giving me. And he makes this sort of throw under duress, but it goes for a first down.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, again, and we can see most of it right here. I mean, again, here's your safety, here's your corner. You're going to see the safety point out to the corner that I'm there to help you out. You take that outside. I'm going to work that inside. There he is. Lawrence looking at that, and then he comes back to the crosser right here.
Yep.
Comes back to the vertical.
Yep.
Sees that that's covered. He's like, okay, let me give the vertical another chance. Oh, no. And there comes the crosser. And again, I love his feet in the pocket here because, again, you can just see he's holding that stance pretty well. Little bounce, still keeps his feet in a position where he can just deliver this ball. And he's even moving through that front foot well on this particular play. using the hips still. And it's just, that ability to stay in the pocket like that, that's nice patience.
Yeah. I just love the patience. I love the mindset. You see it here too. This is a great view of it, actually.
Yeah. Here he is looking off to the left, comes back to the middle. There it is.
Yep.
Comes back to the left. No, totally bracketed.
Yep.
So he's just like, okay,
fine,
there's my man.
Fine. I'll take it. You're to give me the 15 yards, fine. And as he's going through it, you even saw in that angle there, you see the feet, right?
Yes.
The feet go from the one route to the other, to the one to the other. And that was one of the things I loved about Burrow this past year was, as he'd worked through reads, the feet were always there, ready to go.
And watch the end here. See how he kind of drags that foot? That's something I'm going to show later too, but it's fun to see this again on another play where he drags that foot so that he can have that midline where it needs to be to deliver it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like much. If somebody's watching this and they don't understand the mechanics, they might look at this and say, whatever. But the fact that he's just kind of dragging it along so he makes sure that it's still pointed where it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's nice. Love that play. That's a good one, Mark.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one.
All right. So moving forward, now we have another inside zone 10 here, really close to the 5.
Oh, this is just simple smash, 2x2, you get the hitch on the outside, corner from the slot receiver, and just the anticipation and the timing here. I mean, you get the too high look. He's working against, linebacker drop and safety over the top, gets the ball out on time in rhythm, just perfect placement. Looks like it's, Tuesday afternoon at the practice bubble.
Yeah.
Never mind that he's backed up at his own end zone. This is just 7-on-7 to him.
Yeah, this is a move the chains NFL throw right there, if there is one. Beautiful. All right. Now as we head into the at the top of the second half.
Just another back shoulder throw.
Yep, there it comes.
We see this all the time. This is an anticipatory throw. Look where the ball comes out on 3rd and 4 before Higgins is even looking back for it. You can't defend it.
Yeah.
And I know, it's going up against UNC. Okay, well, this works on Sundays too. We see it all the time.
Yep. Yeah, that's a perfect throw. It doesn't matter if the corner was tight to him or not.
Yeah, and he's so good at the back shoulder throw. I mean, so good at it.
Nice. All right. So here we are. Okay. Same drive, it looks like.
Yep. This is another process and speed read type here because they go sort of a switch concept to the left out of trips. We've got one receiver on the post, the other on a wheel, and then the inside number 3 runs sort of a crosser. I love the read here. He sees the safety sort of squat on that crossing route. He knows the cornerback has to hang on the vertical and that post is going to come open. And it's just a timing and rhythm throw, but he's attacking the middle of the field on a post route with timing and rhythm.
Yeah.
That's very rare for a college quarterback. I mean, I've been doing this now for, 6-7 years?
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff you don't often see.
Yeah. Right here, I mean, just the patience right here. I mean, he's going to feel the pocket compress. He's got to feel the blue right here from number 92. And he hangs in there. Well done. All right, so now here we are in the playoffs, Ohio State. Let's see if I remember what's going on with this particular play. Oh, yeah. Now I remember this play.
Oh, yeah.
So this is nice because you're looking, just from off the bat, opens up to his right, comes back to read, looks like smash here. You kind of a hitch and you have a corner route here, maybe at least to that side. And he starts to feel that pressure inside. And I like his ability to slide outside. And then you're going to see him be able to, with Chase Young bearing down on him, being able to get this ball off, even though he gets hit on his throwing arm, he puts enough on it about 36 yards downfield to be able to hit the receiver like this, moving to his left.
And Chase Young, did he get drafted this year? I forget.
I think sometime, in the first 2 to 3 picks. I mean, I know that's not very
No.
impressive, but yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He moves extremely well in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I know we don't focus on what a guy brings to the table as a runner when we do these shows, but I mean, he brings a lot to the table with his legs too.
Oh, we will be.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
We will be. It was enough to appreciate that I had to put him in. So we'll be doing that. You'll see here. I mean, again, you see the zone that Ohio State's playing in. Everyone's pretty much dropped off here. And he looks that off, and then he's now looking for that corner route right here. And the fact that he kind of feels that inside part right here, and then, again, just being able to make that throw, seeing where the receiver is, seeing where the defender is, and he comes back and he looks for that defender right away. And when he sees the leverage of that defender here, I think he knows he's pretty much going there.
Yeah.
Because 41 pretty much makes the mistake of kind of squatting on this route. So, yeah, well done. Just good placement, doing it, moving to your left. Got a big guy in there. Oh, we forgot one here from Carolina. So let's move back to the Carolina game real quick.
Oh, yeah. Watch this. Watch the escape.
Oh, yeah.
Free shot at him.
Yeah, that's sweet.
This is the giggle-worthy moment, Matt.
Yeah.
First of the 2021 draft cycle.
Glad we got it in early. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. Because, recognizes the pressure pre-snap right away. Calm, dropping back. And what I love, here he is. Gets the defender within about a step or two of him. Defender coming hot up the middle here on the late safety blitz. And then that third defender on the edge for him to be able to roll outside of that, too.
And gets the shoulder pointed at the target on moving to his left.
What is he like? This is like watching a trophy,
Yeah. And look at the velocity on that.
Yeah.
And I know it's just like a, 15-yard throw. But moving to your left at full speed.
Yeah. And
running out of room to do that?
Yeah. Baker Mayfield can't do that.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, this would.
And that safety is thinking right here, I'm ending his season.
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be telling this story at the luncheon at the end of the year.
Now, granted, it looks like either the left guard or the left tackle gets a tiny piece of him to knock him slightly off track.
Yeah.
But Lawrence can't anticipate that. He just sees this guy run at him with a full head of steam, and it doesn't phase him.
Yeah. That's sweetness right there.
You know what that reminds me of? I often, I use movie references, but Top Gun. Yeah. I'm going to hit the brakes. He's going to fly right by.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And again, just protecting the ball, which you rarely see. Look at
left hand. See how the left hand comes right back to it?
Yeah. And it's a little low, whatever, but the fact that he's even holding on to the ball, I can think of about 28 quarterbacks who wouldn't do this in the NFL.
This is one of those plays, Charles McDonald, who we both know and love, had a tweet this week where he's basically like, sometimes I feel like people don't understand football because so many things can go wrong over the course of a game, a season, a drive, whatever. Think of all the things that could have happened here. A sack fumble. Instead, the one thing that was probably the least likely was this.
Yeah.
And it's because of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful play. I could probably watch that another dozen times.
You were teasing me saying I was putting the pen down early when we were talking about him.
Yeah.
This is why.
I understand. I do. Because there are things I've looked and I like, but I haven't seen enough yet because of the games I've watched thus far. But of what I just watched of yours, that filled in some gaps for me. That filled in some major gaps for me.
He's so good.
All right, here's one where, because we haven't talked about anything really negative with him,
Right.
here's one where I would say this is something that he's going to have to get a little bit better at, but a lot of players have to get better at this. And this is reading the leverage point. When you come back, looking at the safety, can you know that you're going to look to your receiver breaking inside here? You want to see the leverage point of this linebacker dropping. I mean, he's facing that break point right here. Like if he can see that linebacker here with that break point, maybe he just feels like he can squeeze that ball in here no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's like he's late doing it if that's what he thinks he can do, because at this point he should be looking at that drop and going, once he comes off, I think what happens is he's looking at the deep safety and then he comes back here and he just kind of skips over the linebacker or sees a linebacker drop but thinks I can squeeze it in. When the linebacker's facing, his chest is to that receiver, that's a no-no.
Yeah. He had a similar throw against, I think it was Georgia Tech, where he got that same sort of inside seam route and you get that linebacker drop and he thought, I could squeeze this in here.
Yeah.
And he's lucky it wasn't a pick just like this one. I mean, there is that sort of fine line between trusting your arm and being reckless.
Yeah.
And maybe, Lawrence walks that line a little bit too close to the edge, perhaps, but
yeah, this is the same type of play that Matthew Stafford would try.
Yep.
This is the type of play that Aaron Rodgers would try. Most pros with a big arm and confidence in their accuracy will probably see this and get tempted. But this is that leverage point that, again, to be really masterful, that may be what's getting in the way a little bit for him. And that's another area that he can improve upon. So, moving forward. All right. Okay, I love this one, I think, because I just wanted to see just the quick ability to check down here where he's, again, looks off the middle. He sees the linebackers dropping here, and he just kind of comes back very quickly, a little off platform. It's nothing major. It just shows you how quick he is at the recognition of doing it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see him cycle through something small and say, are you going to take what's there given the situation? And he does. All right, here's some running that I really, really liked. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you have here what's essentially a gap play. You've got your pulling right here, and he has two pullers. And what I love about this is that he's patient enough to set up the first pull and force this defensive end here, who's kind of setting that edge, force him inside, and then work back to his outside puller.
Yep.
So the patience to do that was just like, oh, okay. So you actually do know how to run the football.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. And, part of it comes from the experience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, both as a passer and as a runner, like there aren't a lot of things that he's going to see for the first time.
And we're
at this point in his career.
And you're going to have people say, well, he shouldn't have taken the shot from that safety over here. But it's like, yeah, but you're going to take shots. If you're running, if you're playing as a runner, this I understand.
And let's not forget, you're down 16 in a national semifinal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes you've got to put your body on the line. I'm reminded of another guy that wore this uniform, Deshaun Watson, right?
Yep.
And that helicopter moment against Reuben Foster. And I remember watching that play, and whenever I talked about Watson in that draft cycle, I said, look, that's what you want to see from your leader. He's going to put himself on the line. He's going to go up against Reuben Foster and helicopter himself. And what Alabama thought after that play. They thought, man, there's nothing we can do to stop this guy.
That's right.
And what did we hear from Reuben Foster in the past couple of weeks about that moment? Reuben Foster saying that very thing about that play. So if you're Ohio State right now, and you see Trevor Lawrence do this, even though you're up 16-0.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this game?
Exactly. And you're looking at him and going, he just set up our man and got outside of two guys to get that first down. Like, yeah, we have to be careful of him. I mean, it's just, he puts you on notice in so many different ways. Here's another, just the speed to the outside. And then on top of it, too, just the the gradual movement here,
Yep.
being able to step up inside Chase Young, oh by the way guy,
Right.
and then be able to read outside, feel that pressure coming inside, switch the ball, and not take the punishment in that particular play. So so the running part is absolutely a fun part of his game, and I think this is the play. Okay. What are we seeing here? I think more than anything, what I like is the look off. I like the fact that, you've got him opening up to the left, holding the safety just enough to check see where he is, and then just being efficient and getting rid of the ball.
Well, what happens on this play if he doesn't freeze that safety in the middle of the field?
Yeah. Exactly. And to me, it's not, what we often see with guys when, this is something you've talked about and it's kind of your bugaboo and kind of mine now too a little bit more, is that you often see look at the quarterback. He manipulates the safety and then comes back to his, to his read. But what we often see is it's with set plays where he's holding the safety, like to begin with, and then comes back to a guy. It's not where you open up to the guy, then come back to the safety and hold him. That's a little bit more nuanced, and I like that.
And what's great about this play, and I'm so glad you picked it, it's that same sort of post flat concept that I highlighted earlier.
Yep.
You get that flat route from the inside guy, you get the outside guy running that post, but here he's got the time to work through the read. Then he comes back, he knows, okay, I'm going to have the post, but I got to freeze this safety, because if I don't, this safety is going to destroy my boy here on this throw. So he holds him just enough, and then look at the placement too. He doesn't lead him. He throttles him down.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good nuance with that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so moving forward, we are... All right, big play here.
Come on.
Yeah. And it's just, again, beating linebackers and safeties. That's part of it.
He's outrunning guys.
Yeah.
And this is a designed QB draw. Yeah. I mean,
and the draw here is sweet because, again, look at number 5 and then look at the defender here. Focus on Etienne, and they both take on Etienne and just leave this crease wide open for Lawrence. And Lawrence is like, okay. And then makes the linebacker miss. I mean, shoot. Nick Chubb making the safety miss. Sorry, wrong player. But still, I mean, that's kind of the setup you have here. The fact that you can beat linebackers and safeties, and you can beat them to the outside, you can beat them up the middle. Here's that lead draw. This is just kind of, nice double team here. The defender comes across, anticipating Etienne. Here comes this other linebacker coming up here. They're both outside. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's... And look at that guy has... Oh, man.
And then that second move after that.
Yeah.
So he beats the safety. Nice setup there. And then that nice little hop back inside. Just the peripheral vision. I mean, yeah, this guy has a running back's eyes, and he has some of the running back's feet in a hell of a quarterback's prospects, build and arm and mindset.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love this play.
Yeah, I mean,
come on. I love this play. This is giggle moment number 2.
Yep.
Because, okay, first of all, opens up to his left. He's going to feel the edge pressure, climbs so nicely, tight away from that, resets, and then he sees the crosser working open, and he pivots late to throw this ball. And
with velocity and on the money.
Yeah. I mean, look
Put
how
your pens
fast
down.
that transition is.
Put your pens down.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as pro of a moment as you're going to get. climb, open up back to the inside.
And let's not forget, they're down 2 with under 3 to go.
Yes.
Like, you'd love this play if it was first quarter of week 1 against Southeastern Louisiana Technical Institute for the Blind.
Right.
Like, this is game on the line in the national semifinal against the Ohio State University.
Yeah. This is a back-breaking play right here.
Yeah.
Because now you basically flipped the field in one play because your quarterback avoids the pressure, even though your right tackle couldn't hold up against number 11 on this pivotal play. I mean, look how close they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that there are a lot of quarterbacks who they feel that and they wilt when they feel that contact. And he just climbs, and then here comes that turn. Wow. Yeah, let's do it slow-mo one time here. And that's an intuitive type of play, and a feel play in terms of from the pocket. Because look at his feet right there.
Yep.
That didn't really go to plan. He had to make a little bit of an adjustment because of that right tackle. And did you see that left front foot at that last second? How he snaps it back to throw the crosser? Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. It's like a boxer who's in tight quarters, who's able to get his foot there to deliver maximum power on that short little punch,
And you and I have both talked about the boxer as quarterback analogy a ton. Yeah. But this is a great example of created space with your feet, like you create space to get off a punch, and then using your feet to maximize whether power or velocity as a boxer or a passer.
Yeah. We've seen him drag that back foot. Now we've seen him being able to drag the front foot and kind of turn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's almost like it's like Clint Eastwood is like in his living room in the leather Barca lounger watching his fighter, in the beginning of $1 Million Baby,
right,
like twisting his feet. You can just see Clint like, or we can see Mark, with the popcorn watching this, and his feet are like moving,
That's exactly right. Although I'll say I was never able to do that. So.
Well, I don't think Clint was either, but that's okay.
True.
Well, Then again, I've read stories about him like of all the Hollywood actors who were in fighting movies, he was actually the real deal. So
yeah, I could see that.
So that's interesting. Though the guy who apparently is the most dangerous Hollywood fighter I've read is John Cusack, who's actually who's like a black belt in kickboxing and has been doing it for over 30 years. So he's the guy that you least likely think you'd want to mess with. Or you'd think it wouldn't be a big deal, but he apparently is
wow, that's a stunner.
That's an interesting thing I read somewhere. All right, so again, another just fun, ridiculous play at the end of this. And it's a little bit risky, obviously, but again, we're looking at, the calculated risk, how to be aggressive, the placement of this throw, being able to do it with 3 guys pressuring you.
And he knows pre-snap that it's cover 0. Yeah. So that he's not worried about some sort of safety lurking somewhere.
Yep.
He knows it's a 1-on-1 situation. If he can just survive and extend, he'll give his guy a chance.
And it's kind of like the Montana play in terms of the movement in the back of the end zone.
Oh, so we're comparing them to both Luck and Montana on this episode. That's how Draft Twitter is going to view this one.
Well, Draft Twitter will be Draft Twitter. So
this is true.
We can't help the fact that we mentioned somebody. It's the same thing of saying, I have the guy ranked 7th on my board. I must hate him compared to everyone else who has a number 3. Though, my grade might be, 0.25 points different between the number 3 guy and the number 7 guy. Forget that. Because my grade doesn't matter. It's the fact that I put him in some linear order that I gave him that number, that somehow that means I don't like him. I mean,
we love Draft Twitter.
Yeah. Here we are in Virginia to start off. Again, just a nice job of being able to spot that hole. And it's a little high. I mean, I think that's where I think what I'm noting here is, again, where he sets the feet, kind of remains a little glued in place. But again, this is a set play where he kind of has to, where we don't see the whole thing of it. But I like
it's
he places it.
It's 4 verts out of the 3x1. So what I like here is that how he flashes the eyes to number 3, the bender, working across the safety's face, and then comes back to throw number 2.
Yeah,
and it is a little high, but
he makes him throttle down though.
Yeah.
So it's not a. So let's see. Moving forward, a few more plays left from the Virginia game. Oh, okay. So we talk about runners, okay, and we might as well be talking about a running back at this point, because this is something Kenyon Drake probably wouldn't have done for the first 3 years of his NFL career. Okay, when you've got this exchange point, you have the defender coming off the edge, and he's supposed to go around this defender, but because the eyes and feet are in such harmony here, he's able to see this, and he just hesitates and then just dives right inside. And I just love that. I mean, I just love that the reaction there. He's so quick to make that reaction. And it's a deceptively difficult play to do, because a lot of quarterbacks would have taken 2 steps and been mowed over.
Yeah.
And we're talking about like athletic quarterbacks would have done that. That's a guy whose mind, he's processing things fast to be able to do that.
Very fast.
Yeah, that's sweet work right there. Let's see if they show a replay of it. Yeah.
And you can see him start to pull to the outside.
Yes.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah, quick thinking, Mr. Lawrence. All right.
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about processing speed. There are different ways to see it from a quarterback, and that's another example of it. Like the mind-body connection working so quickly there.
Okay, so what I liked about this play, even though he gets sacked, because you have about 3 points of pressure coming at him on this particular play, is again just the little shoulder reduction right there.
Yep.
And while he doesn't get fully away from it, I just like seeing the technique. Sometimes things don't work out, but I like the fact that on this particular play that happened. Now, what we could comment about too is maybe his recognition pre-snap of this defender movement, and saying, could he have possibly read this a little bit better? But even so, it's, that's picked up, or at least it's wide enough here. It's actually the inside man. But, looking at it from this perspective, you kind of have a 3-on-2.
Yeah.
So, could he have done more pre-snap, maybe to, talk to the line, or point out to the line, or make sure that the line had this picked up? Is that his role? Was the running back supposed to maybe pick up anything here, or did he just bail into his route? And really,
it almost looks like he had a free release.
Yeah, because what you see is a twist right here that doesn't get picked up.
Yeah.
So it's a well-designed play by the defense.
The one thing that scares me is what you saw right there, and it's, again, nitpicky, but his left arm at the end of this play.
Oh yeah.
That scares me.
Yeah.
And it's natural. It's human nature to like put your arm down to brace yourself, but there is an art to taking a sack. And one of the things Montana has written about it, Ken Anderson has written about it, others have written about it, you have to fight that nature and just let that arm come back into your body as you're going down.
Or else you can ruin your elbow or shoulder.
Yep. And it's your offhand, sure, but you don't want to see this kid get knocked out on a play like this. Got to learn to fight that instinct. Again, if we're talking about things like that with a quarterback, the rest of the stuff is probably pretty good.
Yes.
That we're this far into the weeds.
Yes. All right. Final play here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. So the interior pressure, here's again where he, reduces the shoulder, resets his feet, drags the back foot and gets it to the receiver who drops it.
Just puts it on the money.
Watch him drag that back foot so the midline still stays good.
Oh, oh, come on.
Here comes the drag. There we go. Drag it right there. That's someone who is that's as fundamentally sound as you can get in a stressful situation.
Yep.
To slide to your left a couple of steps in control and do I mean, this is like Carson Palmer, Brett Favre, like that. Well, Favre would have done crazy things, but still, like you old pocket quarterbacks. Like think of old pocket Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Ken Anderson, like you said.
Yeah.
Dan Fouts would have done that.
Fouts would have done this. Yeah.
Fouts,
this is it's teaching tape.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this kid is. It's teaching tape.
And right over the zebra.
Yeah.
Not even concerned.
No.
Right in the hands. And that's 14 was probably like blind spot. With the zebra.
It's like, I'm not getting the ball here. There's no way.
Yeah. Nobody ever throws this here.
Right.
All right. That was, yeah. So we've had about 3 giggle moments in 51 minutes, which I would say is on pretty far on par with some of the better quarterbacks we've watched.
It's not Mahomes.
No.
But it's in that direction.
Yes. It's definitely good.
Yes.
And so we can definitely be happy about that. And listen, I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. It's been a couple years.
It has been.
We have.
Interestingly enough, I think one of the last ones we did like this was Stidham.
Yes.
Before his last year.
And it seems like that a lot of people liked watching that particular tape.
It certainly seems that way, especially when you and I both pointed out that, and I had completely forgotten this, we mentioned the New England Patriots as a fit for him.
Yes.
It's almost, Matt, like we kind of sometimes know what we're talking about.
Accidents happen. So
we stumble, squirrels, blind nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Blind nuts, squirrels, however that goes.
Yeah, however it goes. But listen, anytime we can hang out in the briar patch there and be able to and talk a little ball, it's always a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You can find Mark Schofield at Mark Schofield on Twitter, and of course at USA Today Wired, doing a lot of fine writing there, as well as at MattWaldmanRSP.com. Of course, you can check out the MattWaldman'sRSP.com to find out a lot of fun content and some things that, if you're into the draft or into fantasy, I think you'll find some things that you might like there on occasion that might be worthwhile. And of course, you can check out Mark and I at the Quick Game, Matt Waldman's RSP Cast, available on all the outlets that you know and love in terms of downloading podcasts. So, thanks again, folks. And before we go, though, maybe we should talk about, where would you like to see our man?
Oh boy,
Trevor Lawrence. What do you think? Are you hoping for Jarrett Stidham's downfall here and hoping that the Patriots have like an absolute breakdown? Or
it's hard not to,
right?
I mean, I think fans of probably 23 fan bases would probably hope for the same watching this kid.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty schematically diverse.
Yes.
Like, unless something crazy happens here in 2020, which I don't know, open a window, given the way the year is going, it might. He's pretty scheme diverse. Like, you could drop him into almost any offense and feel comfortable that he's going to be able to figure it out. So, I mean, look, Pittsburgh, I think might be an ideal situation for him, right?
Yes.
New England, sure. But I think almost any offense, whether it's a West Coast offense, a Coryell offense, an Aaron Perkins offense, a more spread offense, he's going to be able to be just fine in that system. I mean,
I think Kevin Stefanski would really like to have Trevor Lawrence. And I know that, my Browns faithful are going to be unhappy to hear that, but I would say this, I'd like for Mayfield to do well, but if you could have a guy like Lawrence in this scheme, that'd be great. But we have a lot of time before we look, but I think you're right. The schematic diversity that he has, schematic versatility that he has is just awesome. I mean, you could even put him in Baltimore if something dramatically horrible happened to Lamar Jackson.
That's how incredible he is, right? Like you could drop him into a 13 personnel, like diverse run game with some vertical elements like we see them do with Lamar Jackson, and he'd be just fine.
Yeah.
Like he'd be just fine. Or you could throw him into a Doug Peterson West or a Matt Nagy heavy West Coast system, and he'd be just fine. Although I think that would almost put, training wheels on him when he doesn't need them. You could drop him into an Arians offense, and I've got no concerns about him whatsoever. I think he's just so scheme diverse right now. I will say I haven't dug into the other two guys, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. Hopefully you and I get a chance to do both of those guys here over the next couple of weeks, because a lot of people are talking about those two guys being very excited, particularly the fact we might have another NDSU quarterback, after Carson Wentz, who we did a couple of years ago. But if they're anything close to this guy, man, we're in for a fun 2020.
Well, I think we should probably do one of these two guys soon for a film room. So we'll check back in the next week or two and see if we can get that rolling. But again, you can check out more of these types of film rooms at Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room on YouTube. And, again, Mark and I are at MattWaldmanRSP.com, where you can find our work on the 2021 and 2020 prospects, as well as a couple of years worth of prospects even before that. So thanks again for listening, and click the like button if you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you soon.